All right, everyone, just stopping by for a little news update video here. It's just been recently announced by Paramount that something that I don't think any of us Friday the 13th fans really ever expected. It was just recently announced that, I guess, to kind of celebrate the one and only Friday the 13th of 2021, which takes place in August. It's just been recently announced on August 10th. Paramount's going to release yet another Friday the 13th 8 movie collection on Blu-ray, just kind of like the one that they released years ago that I got for like $20. Obviously, before the Scream Factory collection came out, that was a revelation to us fans, because it was the first time Paramount had really ever put out all the first 8 movies on Blu-ray. So the collection was very much appreciated by fans, including myself, when it came out. But now, obviously, last year we got the amazing Scream Factory collection with the first four, newly mastered or newly transferred in 4K, and the actual 3D version of 3, not to mention all kinds of other stuff. This is just really out of left field for us Friday the 13th fans, this announcement. So basically, let me just read it here. Paramount Home Media Distribution has announced that it will release on Blu-ray Friday the 13th 8 movie collection. The release will be available for purchase on August 10th. Now listen to this funny stuff. Get ready for the only Friday the 13th of the year on August 13th with this To Die For collection, which includes newly remastered versions of the first four films in one of the most influential and successful horror franchises in cinematic history. This must-have set for fans of heart-stopping horror is gushing over with hours of previously released special features. Like, that's a selling point. Like, previously released special features that you already have and you don't need to buy this to get. So from what I understand so far with the limited info we've got on this upcoming release is, it is a plus that it's going to include the remastered or the 4K scans of the first four movies. But the question is, like, will it include the actual 3D version of Part 3? Will it include original mono or just original sound for all the films? That's really important. Will it include any? One can only assume it's not going to include any of the special features that are exclusive to the Scream Factory release. This is just really weird and interesting to me. Part of me would actually feels like I would support this release if they actually release an actual version, a real version of 3 in 3D. I might support this release if it comes down. That's in price. That's another thing about this that's goofy. Right now, it's currently for pre-order on Amazon for $80. One can only assume that price is going to drop before it actually ends up coming out, or even possibly after it comes out. But this announcement is just very, very strange to me. And like I say, I don't think any of us Friday the 13th fans would have ever expected this to happen this year. The one thing I can say, looking at the cover art for this upcoming release, is it's probably some of the best cover art that Paramount has done for the franchise in a long time. I can't even say in how long. It looks like they're really loving Friday 7 here. New Blood Jason. I mean, we've got 3 renditions of him here. We've even got Part 2 Sackhead Jason here. The only complaint about this cover, I would say, is obviously it's kind of like they took cues from the home video artwork for Friday the 13th Part 2, yet they're using the kind of the artwork of just the character, the outline holding the axe, and kind of melding that into Part 7 Jason. It doesn't look horrible. The shot of him with the weed trimmer thing is pretty cool, and the famous shot with him holding the axe and stuff. So one thing I can say positive for this release is the artwork actually isn't completely and totally horrible, and I am actually digging the red Blu-ray case here as well. So there's a chance I'd support this release if it's actually got the actual 3D version of Part 3. That'll be really interesting to see if that ends up being the case. And also, I'm very interested in knowing whether or not this release is going to sport the original audio track options for all the films. Original mono for the first 5 and original stereo for the other 3. That'll be interesting to see. Oh, another thing about this release is apparently, unlike the previous 8 movie collection by Paramount of the first 8 movies, the release of the first film, from what I understand, is going to include both theatrical and uncut versions. So, that's better than their previous release. Before I end this little video here, I just found this out too as I was just getting ready to start this video doing some research. Is it looks like on August 10th as well there's going to be a standalone release of Friday the 13th. This release is sporting the newly remastered version, also the 4K scan for Blu-ray, and it's also sporting the original theatrical poster, which is exciting. Obviously, one can assume that they're just going to milk the new scans on Blu-ray before they and try to sell as many of them on Blu-ray before they bother releasing them on UHD, which is obviously something that would most likely come down the pike after they milk people for what they can get with the 4K scans on traditional Blu-ray. So one thing I can say for the standalone release of Friday the 13th, this newly remastered for Blu-ray single movie release that's also coming out on August 10th. One can only assume it's going to be the theatrical and unrated versions as well, and you got to give them credit for at least using the original poster art for that. And one of the ironic things about this news in Paramount, starting to distribute on Blu-ray the new 4K scans, would have been nice if they could have offered the new 4K scan of the second movie in this year's Steelbook. Be interesting to know if they're going to offer, like if they do a 40th anniversary Steelbook next year of the third film, if it's going to include the old scan or if it's going to include the new scan. And how cool would it be if next year they release the the Steelbook version of the 40th anniversary of Friday the 13th Part 3, and they actually include the 4K scan, but not only that, the real 3D version as well. That would be very, 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 very cool. I plan to already buy that if the cover art's not screwed up, but I'd really buy it if it, includes the actual 3D version as well. So I'm very interested in knowing, as the weeks go on and stuff, is this, 8 movie collection going to include the actual real 3D version of Part 3, or just the 2D and anaglyph version that's been offered previously? So I guess that pretty much does it for me. Just really goofy ass news. I don't plan on supporting this release. The only thing that could really get me to support this release, their new upcoming 8 movie collection, would be a dramatic price drop and the inclusion of the actual real 3D version of Friday the 13th Part 3. So feel free to let me know what you guys think about this. Obviously, I don't expect any of you guys who have the Scream Factory collection to, have any interest in this. I don't blame you. So I guess that pretty much does it. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll catch you next time.